Good morning and welcome to Today in LA. My name is Mike Amos. He is Ross Hickson, and he is
Forrest Gump.
Friend Forrest Gump. Our good friend Forrest Lee this morning as we get started on the first day of August, and we're ready to go. And if you got that baseball team ready.
As ready as they're going to be. As ready as they're going to be.
Now, you play Wednesday afternoon at 4 o'clock against a team from Missouri. Is that right?
That's correct. St. Joseph, Missouri.
Now, will y'all be leaving today to go to Birmingham or wait another day?
So we'll leave tomorrow around 10:30 from Troy. They pick you up on a bus, take you up there, check you in, have an opening ceremony tomorrow night, and you'll get ready to play on Wednesday.
Now, you know, American Legion, we talk about this all the time. American Legion baseball is the excuse my language, epitome of a rec baseball, of local baseball. It goes back a long ways. Even in Troy, it goes back a long ways.
That's right. It had gone through a little lull period, kind of when I was actually coming through high school. I played Legion ball in Dothan. Post 70, has got a rich history. Troy's got a rich history in baseball. A lot of people that I talk to now that have been around Legion ball for a long time always revert Troy back to Terry Jenright.
That's right.
Or
maybe further than that, his daddy was the man that kept American Legion alive, Mr. Jenright. And if you look back, you'll find that to be.
Right.
And of course, there were some people after Mr. Jenright, but I can't think of anybody more solid with the program than Mr. J.B. Jenright. And then his boy Terry jumped on it after that, and then Jerry, I'm sure he helped out, his twin brother, and here we are today.
That's right.
Post 70 American, but it's located here in Troy, right?
That's right.
Yeah, it's located, I think, right downtown.
Now, Post 70 has not always been a Troy team. Is that right?
I'm not sure about that. As far as I know, it has, but...
All right, so it's always been Post 70, and Dothan was one.
Dothan was Post 12.
Post 12, okay.
Post 12.
They always had a good team.
That's right.
Sammy Frichter kept that alive pretty much, didn't he?
Well, Sammy, when I was coming up playing, Sammy coaches a team called the Wiregrass Cardinals, and when we played, they were our big rival at Post 12.
Oh yeah.
Larry Tubbs was my coach.
Remember him well, and I saw him not long ago. He coached somebody up in the. Do you know what Larry's doing now?
He moved to Childersburg last I heard,
well,
so he's not too far away.
That's where he's from, right. Childersburg.
That's right.
I remember he put together a dynamic team at one time out of Childersburg, if I'm not wrong.
He probably did. He's a great baseball guy.
Yeah, and he's one of those solid baseball guys, been around a long time. And I know he coached Dothan for a while, didn't he?
Long time.
Coach, I see you got 20 players on your roster in there from all over the southeastern part of Alabama. How do these players get selected? Is there a tryout or interest or?
So when we started, and when I say we, when Post 70 was, I guess, rejuvenated back in 2013, John Rushing, when John was here working in Troy at the university, he is a Legion guy. His dad was a great Legion coach as well in Tuscaloosa. And he kind of started back. And we always joked back then, we kind of had to shake the bushes to get kids to come back and play Post 70 American Legion ball, because travel ball has taken over during the summer. And now you've kind of grown the program to where we have to turn down some good players because you have a lot of interest now. So we do have a tryout sometimes. Sometimes it's word of mouth. You create a lot of contacts and relationships through summer baseball. And if you look at some of the high schools, you have relationships there with their coaches, and they kind of promote their players and say, hey, we want to play with you in the summer. And it's just a good thing. Word of mouth has been one of the biggest ways we've grown. So
If you think about it, though, it's probably the only program that allows 19-year-olds to play.
it
Is
is
that right?
that is one of the few. One of the few.
All right, let's go to our phones. Good morning. You're on Today in L.A.
Hi, morning.
Where are you calling from, please?
Drayton Beach, Florida.
Drayton Beach, Florida. That's a long ways from here. Is it sunny and warm down there?
It is sunny, yeah. Not as warm as it was in Panama City Beach, Florida when I saw you yesterday.
Yeah. Well, we've got Ross Hickson on our show this morning, and of course, we're talking about the American Legion State our regional tournament in Pelham, Alabama. That starts on Wednesday.
So, as far as who will they play in the first game?
We'll play St. Joseph's, Missouri.
Oh, wow, okay.
There's 4 games Wednesday at 1 o'clock. No, at 10 o'clock, Fort Smith, Arkansas is playing Jefferson City, Missouri. And at 1 o'clock, Pittsburgh, Kansas is playing Tupelo, Mississippi. And at 4 o'clock, St. Joe, Missouri will take on Post 70 out of Troy. And at 7 o'clock, the host team, Shelby County, will play against Gonzales, Louisiana. And this is one of 8 regionals throughout the United States.
Yeah.
And
That's big baseball, right there.
and
That's
they're
big
played
baseball.
this weekend, and the winner will advance next weekend to, we said, Shelby, North Carolina, in Cleveland County from August the 11th to the 16th. And,
That's
So
where
is there
the
any
big-
way you can scout your opponent ahead of time, like watch some of their previous games or know some of their tendencies or anything like that?
Yeah. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Technology is very advanced now, so a lot of people live stream their games, and obviously there's Game Changer, which you can go back and look at box scores and stuff like that. We've had the benefit to see 4 of the teams in our regional. We've played a couple, seen a couple more, and so some of them I'm going in completely blind. I have not seen anybody from Missouri play this summer, so that one will be fun. And you don't really know what you're getting into there, but there are some familiarities.
I mean, this tournament is all over the country. California, Wyoming, South Dakota, Michigan, Alabama, North Carolina, West Virginia, and Massachusetts. So this is
It's
a
a
nationwide
as far
championship
as-
if you
yeah,
advance.
As far as 19 years old, this is the tournament in the nation. When you say
I'd agree because what I would call mainstream travel ball goes up usually to 18 years old, and it actually kind of tapers off there. 17-year-olds and under it is really big. As you get older, it does start leveling out a little bit. And so this is a good league to play in because it is a national tournament when you get to this point. And I call it like March Madness with the basketball. This is August Madness because you got your 64 team format, kind of like the NCAA tournament.
Of course, Pelham, Alabama is the site, and of course that's this side south of Birmingham, and they appreciate their ball there. They have a lot of tournaments here. Pelham, you played there probably yourself, haven't
We did. Last year is the first year Pelham actually hosted this same regional, and great park. They have a great high school coach. His name is Sean Anderson, very involved. Just the area in general, you've got a lot of good high schools. You've got a lot of good baseball support.
you? Of course, we're liable to see some of our people.
How does that work as far as pitching goes in American Legion? Are they on a pitch limit or a pitch count, or you can pitch them as long as you need to?
So they are on a pitch count. It's 105 pitches, which I've always been perfectly fine with because we normally don't throw our guys that much in the summer. Just a lot of these guys are about to go play college baseball. They've played a spring schedule at their high school. There's a lot of miles on those arms already. So me being a former pitcher and thinking everything pitching minded, I try to load our team up with at least a good number of arms so we're not taxing anyone.
What I'd like to do first thing this morning, Mike, put this show is brought to you by Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass right here in Troy. And of course, nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody. I'd like to go down the roster and you sort of tell us a little bit about them. And I'll first tell them the name and where they hope to go, or where they will be going to, or where now they go to a junior college or come from a high school. Walker Stallworth is a local name. He'll be wearing number 44 of Southern Union Community College. He went to Pike Liberal Arts.
Walker is one of my, I'm not going to name favorites, but we hit it off very quickly when he had made the move from Charles Henderson to Pike Lib, because I was helping Coach Allen Ponder that year, and him being a pitcher, me being a pitcher, helping out there. He's a great kid. Does everything you ask him to do, always has. Obviously, you know him and his family very well. He's one of our older guys. There's only 2 kids on this roster that have played college baseball before, one being him and another one we'll get to later. So the rest are younger guys.
Okay.
Of course, Brett Toller pitched at Troy. Used to be Charles Henderson's pitching coach. What kind of pitches does Walker have? I mean, is he a kind of a change-up slider guy, or does he have a good fastball? What does he throw?
So Walker is what I call a true pitcher. A lot of kids now throw, and they try to throw it just as hard as they can and hope that they land a strike. Walker can go fastball, 4-seam, 2-seam, change-up, slider, curveball, but he pitches. There's an art to pitching, and he's a true pitcher. He's not going to, be our hardest thrower by any means, but he competes and he commands all his pitches as well, and that's where it starts. So
he's got pretty good control over his slider,
yes.
over his changeup, and
what in junior college, is he a starter or is he a reliever?
He did start a few games for Southern Union this past year. I think he actually was used in a relief role at times as well. He's versatile, I guess you'd say, but I see him more as a starter, and that's more what he did at Southern Union. He had a good year, he really did, and I think he'll have a bigger year this year, being a sophomore, coming back in, knowing the landscape a little bit better in college.
Next is a young man who played his ball right here in Troy, Darrell Lee. He's committed to play at Coastal Alabama South, and he's a Pike Liberal Arts player.
Yeah, Darrell's a really quiet kid. I can't get much out of Darrell. He just kind of shows up and goes about his business in a professional way, which you do appreciate as a coach. And he's going to be very fun to watch over his career, because I think he's just now starting to reach his, I'm not going to say ceiling, because I still think he can go up more, but he's a two-way guy, a great center fielder, fast, left-handed hitter, left-handed pitcher. And it is hard to do both pitch and hit at the college level. There's no doubt about that. But Darrell's a kid that's so athletic that if anybody can, he should be able to.
He can run, and that's the one very big asset that he has. And was
So was that kid that name? Was he originally a Charles Henderson too?
Darrell was. He was a Pike County kid first. Made the move from Pike County to Charles Henderson, and then from Charles Henderson to Pike Lib. So
later on,
is that transfer portal you talk about all the time, Doug?
Yeah, I know it exactly. It's unreal, and of course he's a good one. The number 3 player is Press Jeffcoat. He wears number 12, and Press is already committed to Pensacola State out of Florida. And some of them have already enrolled there, probably. And then played his high school ball at Pike Liberal.
Yeah, Press is another local kid, a great family. He came over, I think, prior to his sophomore season at Pike Lib, and I got to know him there because I did the pitching. And Press as a 10th grader, I wasn't sure how Press would turn out. Press is as Daryl does not like to talk a lot, Press does like to talk a lot. But Press, you can coach really hard, and I've always appreciated that about him because he accepts it. And from his sophomore year to now, he's turned into an outstanding pitcher on the mound. Another kid, he's probably 6'3". A good frame.
He looks like a big time pitcher.
He is. He's got a bright future as well.
Maybe brother's about 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah. I don't know if he's.
So when y'all had the starting lineup, I mean, as far as y'all's ones and twos, I mean, Jeffcoat was y'all's one and Nelson was y'all's two. How did y'all go about deciding that?
So the way we did it at Pike is you had those two guys that were, extremely talented. If you talk to people in the state, public or private, they'll tell you those two kind of set you apart from some really good programs. And our idea behind it was we played a series, you got to win 2 games. And we felt good with those guys. We felt good with Darrell Lee. We felt good with others. But if Press goes out there and wins game 1 and that dugout's looking across and you see Drew Nelson coming out to throw game 2, it's pretty defeating already. And then we had the idea in our head, if somehow you lost game 1, Drew was going to be the guy to get you back even, to play that 3rd game. So that's how we've done pitching for a while there in a series is I'm not going to say backwards. I hate labeling kids 1 or 2 because they're all, good. And, you feel like you're going to win with any of them, but that's kind of our mindset behind it.
Yeah, I mean, the way I looked at it, I was just amazed because, a lot of people think Nelson was the best pitcher in the state, private school and public school, and he was actually y'all's number 2 starter technically.
Right.
I mean, that's just high praise for Jeffcoat. Does Jeffcoat throw high 80s, low 90s?
He does. He's hit 90 plus at times, but he's a guy that's going to sit around that 87, 88 mark when he's feeling good.
Does he have a real good changeup or slider? What's his go pitch?
So the slider for him is the separator. It's the strikeout pitch, the one that, if I look at kids and see if they can pitch at the next level, whether it's junior college or 4-year, you got to have a pitch you can strike kids out on, and that is the slider for him. And his changeup is coming along. He'll probably have to add that and go to it a little bit.
When he does that, he'll have the complete package one.
He will.
But he's got a good slider already, and that changeup.
So is he a guy that can play Division I for sure?
Yeah, absolutely. He's a guy that really flirted with being a 4-year guy out of high school. I think he's making the right decision going to continue to develop a year or 2 more at junior college, especially in the Panhandle Conference.
Pensacola State is one of the top programs in the whole country of junior college programs, and we're anxious to watch him here. How about this? Number 4 guy on this roster, and we're going down the roster of the post 70, 19 and under, is Dre Kavanaugh, and he's already committed to Southern Union, and he's from Enterprise High School.
Right. Trey, like Walker, their teammates at Southern Union, their birthdays fell where they could play another year of American Legion ball because they are younger.
So they can play next year.
Well, this is their last year, but they're both freshmen in college already. So Trey's a pitcher from right up the road in Enterprise. He played high school ball for Matt Whitten. Matt obviously has history here in Troy, being Charles Henderson's coach, does a really good job over there. Trey is a pitcher only. One of my older guys, this is his 3rd year playing post 70. So he started out as a 17-year-old, playing on this older team and just developed each year. And he's another good arm that we have.
All right. The next player is...
So how does that work? I have a question. Does Enterprise not have an American Legion team, or he just chose to play in Troy?
Yeah, so they don't. Right now, with the 19U age, Troy is the only post around the Southeast. You used to have Dothan, and at times you've had other cities have a pop-up team here and there, but Troy is the only place. I think the closest to us is actually Shelby County, which is 2 hours away.
Wow, that's really interesting. So y'all could have kids from Mobile come up and play for y'all, I guess.
You could. As Michael go down the roster, you'll see some here in a second that you're thinking, wow, they came to play with you and Troy, one being at Auburn High School, which obviously we know how good they've been the last couple of years.
And of course, you know,
Where do y'all practice in Troy? Pilot Arts?
Pike, we've been able to use the university. They've always been a great partner with us about doing stuff in the summer, but they're doing the construction this year, so we hadn't been able to jump over there. But Chase has been great about letting us use Charles Centerson at times as well. So just a community effort wherever we can find a field, basically.
okay, the number 5 player on your roster is Drew Scheiber. He's he wears number 9, and he's Enterprise State Community College. Has already committed to play with them, and he's from Enterprise High School.
So Drew is actually uncommitted. He is the youngest kid on our team. He's got another year of high school ball.
Oh, okay.
So he has college offers right now. He'll be a no doubt guy to play college baseball. He's just got to decide where that's going to be. And he's an outfielder, left-handed batter. Like I said, a younger guy, but he's a good sized kid. He's 6'1", 6'2". Just another good kid, and that's a consistent that you'll see and hear me talk about with these guys. Is that they're all good kids on top of everything else. They come from good parents, good home life. I call no maintenance kids. They don't have to worry about what they're doing off the field. They just like to work and play baseball. But he's another one.
And now, something that you're going to see a lot of at this tournament is scouts, major league scouts. I mean, college scouts. You'll see a lot of professional scouts at this tournament.
So what's funny or ironic about this event being in Pelham is you have this going on and then a showcase tournament type thing called East Coast Pro, which is it's another big scouting deal. They played at the Hoover Met, so you're right there. So sometimes you'll have guys just bounce back and forth as far as scouts and colleges go to watch both that and this. So it's good that they can do that, 20 minutes away.
Y'all swing a wooden bat or aluminum?
There's tournaments you play that are wood, but in the postseason it's just metal. It's just like high school and college ball.
Number 6.
How much does a bat cost these days?
The funny thing is I get asked about equipment a lot. I have no idea. I couldn't tell you a bat, especially a bat, just because I do so much more with pitching. But I would say $400, maybe more. It's wild, just like everything cost is going up.
All right, number 6.
all your guys furnish their own gloves and bring their own bats. Y'all don't have to carry any equipment, right?
They do.
And what is the glove everybody uses? Rollins or Wilson?
I've seen a couple of those. They've got these custom-made gloves now that I've never heard of. It starts to make you feel a little bit old. I don't feel that way at all, but some stuff they bring out there now I've never heard of. They didn't have it when I played.
Okay, number 6 is a young man from Enterprise named Will Powell. He's already committed to Enterprise State, or from Enterprise High School. In fact, that's 4 solid players from Enterprise High School.
Yeah, so Will, I'm sure you know Billy Powell. Billy Powell does the Parks and Rec. He's what I call the Enterprise Dan Smith.
Now, and let me tell you this. Let me tell you this.
Louisiana right now.
Let me tell you this about him, and this is going to choke a bunch of you up. This is Rip Talbot's grandson. Rip Talbot, the great Rip Talbot, who was the greatest Little League pitcher to ever come through Troy. For years ago, I could tell you a big story about that, but I'm not. But great athlete, and Rip Talbot was his grandfather, and then that's the rest of the story. And of course, Will Powell, tell us about him, Coach.
Will's a big, strong kid. If you think of a big lumberjack,
Rip was a big, strong guy. His granddaddy.
He's 18. He's got a full beard.
He's mature, Coach. He's mature.
That's right. Some people probably think he is the coach when we go places. But Will's a good kid. He's going to stay local there at Enterprise, the junior college there, to play ball. He's first baseman, big power hitter. Good kid.
And a lot of these kids one day will probably be found on a Troy University lineup very, very easily.
Well, I would say they definitely have a shot, and we've had a couple guys over the last few years end up, whether it was out of high school or go a year or two of junior college ball, end up at Troy, and you know, it's all credit to them and their work, but playing here in Troy does help get some eyes on them from Troy guys at times.
Another player on your roster is Noah Lowy. He's wears number 7, and he's from Coastal Alabama South, and that's another one from Coastal. That's a good program in Ellick City. Is that right, Coach?
So Coastal South is in Bay Minette. It was
Oh,
old
man.
Faulkner State.
Old Faulkner State. Okay, I got you. And he is from Enterprise High School, another one.
That's right. Noah had an unfortunate summer. He got hurt early in our summer and fractured his finger. Very odd play on a ground ball, and it shut him down for 6 weeks. So he's actually just now cleared to play again, but he did miss a good portion of the summer. He's a middle infielder. I think he played second base at Enterprise High School.
Enterprise High School, solid program, and he's now ready to go. Is that right?
Ready to go and he'll be ready to go to Coastal South in fall and compete down there for a spot to play.
All right, here's some kids from Rehoboth, and boy, I tell you got a lot of Rehoboth kids. A good program down there, Coach. Who's their high school coach?
Right, so they just actually had a change in high school coaches. The new guy now, his name's Parker Moman. He's a younger guy. He'll probably bring some good energy to Rehoboth's program, and like you said, they've had some really good players over the last couple of years, and the ironic thing about that, me playing post 12 growing up, Rehoboth was our home field.
Yeah.
Now post 12 doesn't have a team that age, so Rehoboth kids are coming up to Troy to play summer ball, which is a cool thing.
And they'll play junior college ball against each other, high school ball
Right.
against each other. They've got to be best friends for us all over.
How often do y'all get to practice, on a basic week?
Usually one time a week, because you have guys coming from Rehoboth and other areas that we'll talk about here soon. It's hard to get everybody there at one time. If you get the bulk of these guys there at one time, it's good. So we usually just pick a day, whatever works best for their summer schedule, and then go just one time. Good thing is it's not high school ball. They've all played. There's no rust to knock off. They're all high caliber players. So my job's usually easy, just writing names on a lineup card, because these guys know how to play.
And they're going through their program anyhow, their off-season
That's
program.
right. That's right.
So they're already in shape and all that kind of stuff.
That's right.
Of course, Lane Cook is number 15 from Lurleen Baines Wallace Community College, Rehoboth High School.
So Lane's played with me 2 or 3 years now as well. He's an outfielder, a bigger kid, can hit the ball out of the ballpark. And he's another one that just goes about his business fairly quiet and just shows up and plays baseball. So
Here's another one, Sheldon Arroy, Lorraine B. Wallace Junior College, Community College, another one of these Rehoboth kids.
yeah, Shelton's got a really bright future. He's 6'3", 200, 205 pounds. Going down there to Steve Helms, he'll get a nice dose of how to be tough. Because Coach Helms is known for that.
Well, he played for Coach Shartzer, and I can tell you some stories at Huntington. He was a great player at Huntington. He played for Shartzer at Huntington, and that's what he did. You've heard some Steve Shartzer stories, I'm sure.
I don't know him, but I've heard the name.
Yeah, he's not with us anymore, but he's a great coach.
What
Okay.
positions
So
do you play?
who replaced Mackie Sasser? Didn't Mackie Sasser retire? Who's the head
He
coach
did.
there now?
A guy named Ryan Owl. Ron is a younger guy. I think he's been with Mackey the last 2 years now. So that was a very coveted job from what I hear, and Ron ended up getting it. They stayed in-house with it, so I think they'll do a good job.
Another one of these kids from Rehoboth, Zach Chandler. Tell us a little bit about him, Coach. He's from Southern Union, going to Southern Union Community College, and he's from from
Going to
No,
LBW.
I'm wrong. You go to Lurleen B. Wallace Community College, and he's from Rehoboth.
That's right. So Zach's another kid. He's a first baseman, a bigger kid. Had a really good summer for us. It's funny that the three Rehoboth kids I've got are all going to LBW to play for Coach Hams, and you see that a lot in summer ball.
He's a good pitching coach. He's known for his pitching.
That's right.
Coach.
That's
Is that
right. Right. And ironically, none of those guys. Well, Shelton pitches a little bit, but the other two don't pitch.
Yeah.
But they're all good kids, kind of staying together as high school teammates going to college, and you see that a lot nowadays.
All right, the next one in the lineup is number 11, Tanner Taylor. He wears number 1, and he's from Southern Union Community College by way of Headland High School.
That's right. So Headland had an outstanding high school season this year. Went to the Final Four in 5A ball. Ended up losing to Holtville, and I could be wrong on this, but I want to say some of those guys have told me that is the farthest they've been in the program's history at Headland. Like I said, I could be wrong. I don't know Headland's history.
Yeah, I can vouch for that pretty much. I've watched Headland, and people got really excited about this team this year.
All right. Tanner's a middle infielder. He can bat anywhere from leadoff, 2-hole to down in the lineup. He's got one of the best swings on our team that will play for him at the next level. He's very, what I call baseball savvy. He knows the game. You don't have to remind him of anything. He's just very knowledgeable about how to play this game the right way. Comes from a great family, and Southern Union is going to be very happy when he gets on campus.
Is he your shortstop?
He has played at times. He plays second base at times, and he's played third base at times. And he can pitch.
He's a middle infielder.
He is, yes, sir.
And he can pitch too, like you said.
Right.
All right, number 12, actually number 10 jersey is a young man named Ray Jordan. He's a young man from, listen to this, San
Jacinto.
San Jacinto, Texas Community College by way of Headland High School.
So he is a kid, San Jacinto, if you know anything about the junior college landscape, one of the best programs in the nation. They go to Grand Junction fairly often, which is where the Junior College World Series is. And him going all the way out there from Headland speaks to his talent, because there's a lot of players they could find from Texas to Alabama and in between. He's an outstanding kid, another Headland guy. Those two Headland kids, Tanner and Reed Jordan, really carried that Headland team. They were their 1-2 on the mound. They threw, the bulk of their innings on the year. And then they batted, I think Tanner batted leadoff for them and Reed batted in the 3-hole. So those two guys had an outstanding high school career, were the two leaders on their team to take them, the farthest they have been. So very bright futures for both of them.
Does he pitch and what else?
He does
So
pitch
how
and plays third
do
base.
these college coaches look at American Legion? And are they concerned these kids are gonna, throw out their arms or get injured before they come and play for them, or are they don't have an issue with it? Or how does that work?
Yeah, so the way we've always done it is, for these guys that are committed to a college, is we encourage them to talk to that college coach and say, hey, what do you want me to do before I get to campus? And whatever they want, we abide by. We just coach them from high school ball to their fall transition at college. And whatever their college coach wants us to do, that's what we're going to help them with, or, like I said, abide by. And like we talked about the pitch counts earlier, I think the most kid has thrown on our team this summer in one outing is like 67, 70 pitches. Whereas high school ball, you see them get taxed a little bit. They're throwing 110, 115 pitches at times. But the last thing as a coach in the summer that you want is those guys getting hurt before they go play college ball.
So of your 20 players, how many of them can pitch? I'm up to 7 right now.
7. There's 12. There's
12
12
that
guys
can
that have thrown
And
competitive innings.
we're going to go over those
Okay.
pitchers and middle infielders in just a moment. I'm going to go ahead and finish up the roster here. We've got Tucker Jackson, great name, from Pensacola State Community College. He's already committed to them. And he's from Houston Academy. And I was expecting to see several players from there.
So Tucker he's our, what I would call flamethrower. He sits 90-92. A kid at Houston Academy that threw probably 80 plus innings on the year. He was their workhorse.
And he played for a Troy guy.
That's right. He did.
And, a long time Troy guy was, in fact, a member of Troy's Hall of Fame. And it coached him in high school.
And I'm sure you know A.J. Howard that played at Troy.
That's right, yeah.
A.J. helps them out as well. So Tucker, I could see him being a Power 5 guy one day after junior college because he does throw so hard. He's added a strikeout pitch with his slider, and he's just something that a lot of people covet now, and that's a power arm. So I don't see him going backwards in any way. He has touched 94 a couple of times before, but he sits a true 90-92, and those arms don't grow on trees, as you'd say.
Right.
So,
And he joined Chris Jeffco, a Troy guy. It's two solid pitchers right there for this team. All right, let's go. Let's move on to a young man named Ethan Cox from Chattahoochee Valley Community College. He's an Opp High School guy, and Opp's had a good program.
that's right. Opp and Rehoboth remind me of each other. They both had some really good players come through. Opp just is 3A and Rehoboth's 5A, but very similar. They unless you're around this area, you probably haven't really heard of either one of those places a whole lot. Smaller areas, but Ethan himself is a good hitter. He plays center field. He can play anywhere in the outfield, and he's a catcher as well, which again is another coveted position that a lot of people like. And he does both really well. He'll go up to Chattahoochee Valley, which is an outstanding program, been really good the last 10 years here in the state. So he's got a chance to move on from there if he does.
Another young man from Opp, Tanner Burleson. He's going to LBW and from Opp High School.
So Tanner is a pitcher only. He does not throw hard, but him like Walker, they pitch. They pitch the baseball. Command is their game. They can put it where they want it. He relies on his fastball, change up, and he does have a curveball as well, and he can throw all three of them. So he'll go down with Coach Helms at LBW and hopefully progress and be a guy for them that can throw some innings.
Jackson Pierce, a young man from LBW, going to LBW, and he's from another kid from Opp High School.
So Jackson is a middle infielder. He'll probably play second base in college. He is like Darryl a lot, where I think they could have a competition on who says the least. And again, you appreciate that as a coach because they just come and work and go about their business, just try to get better at baseball.
Now, up a notch up here, Douglas Johnson, a kid from Southern Union Community College, from Wetumpka High School, another good program.
Right. So Douglas Johnson is on that list besides Tucker, and I'd say Press. Douglas probably has a good chance to really be a guy that impacts a program at a 4-year level after Southern Union. He has been, I'll tell you a stat that I've never seen in baseball when you have this many innings. He's thrown, I think, around 25 innings this summer. He has yet to walk the batter.
Oh, man.
It's really impressive. It's hard to do in today's age because you just don't see kids that worry about command. But he will sit 85 to 88, so he's got a little velocity. He throws 3 or 4 pitches, all for strikes, obviously, because he hasn't walked anybody. His brother, Seth, played at Troy last year.
Okay.
Seth was an outfielder at Troy. But Douglas going to Southern Union, he'll have a chance to be a 4-year guy down the road as well.
Okay, Drew Cashin, and he's a young man from Enterprise State Community College from New Brockton, Alabama, the Gamecock.
That's right. So Drew's a kid staying local as well, New Brockton, right there around the Enterprise area. So he threw our first game in the state tournament, and he took a no-hitter into the seventh inning, got the first out, and then the kid got a base hit on him. But he's made a lot of strides year to year. Last year he was a good player. This year I'd say he's a really, really good player, and he's put in a lot of work. He works his tail off, and he cares a lot about his career going forward. And he's a guy that pitches, obviously, plays a little bit of third base, but I see him more as a pitcher, and that's probably what he'll do at Enterprise.
Brooks Bryan, a young man that is headed to Troy University. He's committed to Troy, and he's from Opelika.
So Brooks, I hope you hear his name a lot more around town here in the next couple of years. He'll start his freshman year at Troy in the fall. He's a catcher. Troy's got two good catchers coming back in Caleb Barlero and Clay Stearns. Brooks will push both of them to play. He's a left-handed power hitter. He probably hit 8 or 9 home runs this year for Opelika High School. He's got a bright future, really good kid. He is only 17 right now.
Yeah.
So he actually could be a junior, upcoming senior in high school, but he didn't get held back. So
okay, I got you. The last player on your roster, the last player is Todd Clay, another one of these kids going to Pensacola Junior College from Auburn High School, one of the top programs in the state.
Right. So Todd is a shortstop. That's primarily what he's played for us. Todd's a bigger kid. He's what I call kind of the new age shortstop, where when I played, it was the smaller, quicker guy that could cover a lot of ground. Now, if you look in the MLB game, it's the bigger guys. And Todd, being at Auburn High School, that speaks for itself. He definitely knows how to play the game. And I made the comment before, and you look at our roster with Todd, Tucker, Jackson, and Press, Pensacola State came up to Alabama and took 3 of the best players in our state, in my opinion, and they're going to play in the Panhandle, which is great for them. That's a great junior college conference. But they did have a really good signing class for Pensacola State, and got 3 of their guys. So they'll all look to play for them next year early.
In Pensacola State,
How many of these guys, when they go to junior college, play 1 year and then make the jump to a Division II, Division I program? I mean, does that happen a lot, or do most kids play 2 years?
Well, it's becoming more common just because of the portal and the baseball landscape in general. The COVID year has caused some opportunities, but also some log jams at places. But for my personal sake of guys I've coached, there's 2 that come to mind, and ironically, they're both going to Troy. Logan Ross, left-handed pitcher, who is actually my cousin. He played post 70 for us.
he's from Op, isn't he?
He's from Op, yes, sir.
Yeah.
4 or 5 years. He went to Southern Union 1 year, had an outstanding year on the mound for them, and then Troy picked him up after his freshman year. And then Parker Sessions, an Enterprise kid, will do the same thing this year. He was at Central Alabama last year, had a great all-conference season for them, and Troy picked him up to start his sophomore year this year. So that's 2 guys I know that I had personal relationships and coached them, but it is becoming more common, and really that's an appeal to these guys because everybody has dreams of playing 4 years, SEC, ACC. They see these regionals in the postseason, and they're a lot of fun, but the junior college routes, to me, is never a dead end. It's a lot of opportunities still available, whether it's 1 or 2 years.
We're talking to
How does junior college work compared to college? I know college, we had, Brent Jones, Troy's athletic director, on Friday, and I know baseball, Division I, you only get 11.7 scholarships. I don't know how you get to 0.7, but when you go to a junior college, is that a full scholarship?
So the scholarships are a little different. The in-state scholarships in Alabama, they cannot pay a full ride. Usually it's either they pay your tuition and books or all of your housing. in the Panhandle, like where, say Pensacola State, for instance, they actually can give you full rides, and if you have any academic money on top of it, sometimes you're almost making money to go play baseball already, in a way. But that's the separator, really. Just me personally, I wish Alabama would figure out a way to match that to some degree, and then you may not lose kids like our in-state guys down there.
We're talking to Ross Hickson, the head baseball coach for Post 70 American Legion team, which will be playing for they'll have not the championship, but
The regional
the
tournament.
regional championship of American Legion baseball, and there's 8 regions. Is that right?
That's right. That is
All right.
correct.
So whoever wins your region will move on to play for the World Series in World Series in American Legion baseball. Some of the top baseball played anywhere at the local level.
What about your 15-year-old and your 17-year-old teams that are in part of Post 70?
Right. So this is the first year in quite some time we've done a 15U team, and the idea behind it was trying to get or provide a good product out for some of these local guys where they're not spending a ton of money, but still getting a lot of quality back from the summer season. And kind of my idea with Post 70 when I really got my hands on it was you hear about how much it costs to play summer baseball. And there are some really good organizations out there that are worth the money, in my opinion, but then there's some that just aren't. And we wanted to provide something local, something economical, and then something to push these kids to give them a shot to play college baseball, because in reality, that is what the summer circuit is for. A lot of these guys cannot get seen a whole lot in the spring season because the college coaches are playing their own schedule. And it's really hard to line it up logistically to where they can see them. But in the summer, that's when it's kind of full steam ahead. And, we've had college coaches that I'm not going to say every one of our games, but a lot of them, definitely the majority of them. And what you do over time is create connections and relationships with these coaches, and then they call you asking, hey, do you have this player, that player? So getting these kids in here at 15 with hopes that they kind of grow up through the Post 70 program instead of going and traveling all over the country. And, I've done that scene when I played Post 12. We actually went to Las Vegas and Hawaii. So it was a great experience. That was kind of the best of both worlds. And that's what I've always said about Legion ball, because no matter what, when you put a trophy at the end of something, kids want to compete for it. So when you get to this point in your summer to where we just played a state, you have to win that to go to the regional. Now, to play the World Series, you have to win this regional. So kids like to compete.
Yeah, I noticed I didn't see any Mariana kids in here. Do we get? Do you able to recruit Mariana kids? And we're talking about one of the fine junior college programs in the country.
So
it's right down the road.
I may or may not have an inside source there now.
Yeah, Russ just got there.
I know it.
Yeah. So you actually so you can get Florida kids to come play. The thing you have to do is their Florida commissioner would have to sign a release to allow them to come play for an Alabama team, which can be done. And in reality, we don't need to do that just because we have enough local guys where we can field that team. But, if Rush tells me he's got a kid that throws 95 that wants to play Post 70, we may look into seeing about that release.
And, of course, this guy's got a day job, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, Ross this is not a full-time job as the Legion, as Post 70 coach, but you feel like you're coaching at least a minor league ball club, don't you think?
Well, there's a lot of talent, there's no doubt. And selfishly for me, the reason we do it is because I love baseball, first and foremost. I mean, if I didn't, I definitely wouldn't do it. So it allows me to stay around the game, but then the relationships with these kids and the impact that you can hopefully put in a positive way on them and their families is kind of the main two reasons I keep doing it.
It's a wonderful thing. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. hang with us, can't you?
Yeah.
I want.
In the market for a new or pre-owned vehicle? We've got what you're looking for.
So come see us at Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC in Troy, and you too can experience the Jackson satisfaction.
Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC.
These teenage years can be tricky to navigate, especially when it comes to teaching my son about managing money. I'm thankful for helpful tools like Sidekick from Max. With Sidekick, requesting and rewarding money is easy. He can earn it by completing chores, making honor roll, or simply making a request from his own app. I love that I can easily monitor his purchases and set limits to help him learn to make smart choices with his spending, even on video games. Sidekick. Find it in your Max app.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Our wide selection of pre-owned vehicles looks so good, you'll think they're new.
So take the short drive to Bill Jackson Ford in Troy, where you too can experience the Jackson satisfaction.
Bill Jackson Ford, Troy, Alabama.
When I was there when Wendell Stevens hit a 400-foot home run to win a huge game in the College World Series, and of course that's who you're married to, his daughter. Is that right?
Amy is her name, and
Yeah.
I gotta give her a lot of credit because she allows me to do this, and we just had our second boy, so she's been a
Oh
trooper
boy!
this summer.
But now you call Wendell catfish.
I
is that
called
right?
him catfish. That's all I knew. I worked with his uncle Grady,
Oh yeah.
but I was there that
what,
night too.
what a great man Grady was too. You know, I knew all of that.
What are the boys' names?
So my oldest, his name's Brooks, and he's 2.5, a little over 2.5, and then my youngest, his name's Barrett, and he is going to be 2 months old on August 6th. So
You mean there's no chases out there?
I didn't go the chase route, but
And where all did you play?
so I played obviously high school ball at Pike Live, and then I went to Southern Union for 2 years, played for Jabo, Jordan, and then walked on at Auburn for a year, and got told to walk back off. So that wound up my career.
But you did go a long way though, and you played on that.
Who's Auburn's coach then?
It was John Pulowski's last year at Auburn, and I think 2 weeks before the season, he did ask me to redshirt that season, and I was into my college classes pretty deep, and I just made the decision. I could see the writing on the wall that it probably wasn't in the cards for me to pitch in the SEC, but I decided to step away and not take the red shirt, and then he got let go the next year, and a lot of our guys on that team got let go, so that probably would have been my fate had I taken the red shirt anyway.
You know how?
So who replaced him? Did Bush Thompson replace him?
No, it was Sonny Galloway after him, and
Oh, that's right, the former Oklahoma coach.
That's
He
right.
had a lot of controversy.
yeah. So that I always said, I feel like God places stuff on your heart and head and helps you make decisions like that. But I feel like if I would have, like I said, I'd have been right there in that mess, and it just didn't work out with Galloway and Auburn. But they've got a good one now. So
You could always go back and work in
Be a farmer.
work in the chicken house.
Yeah.
You could always go back working in a chicken house.
that's the fallback job. if that's
How long
what
have you
works.
been with the American Legion? How long have you been in the program?
So I started somewhat helping in 2016. I didn't have my own team. John Rushing and Rush pretty much ran everything at that point, and I popped into a few practices and games that year. And 17 is the first year I had my own team, and I started out with the 17-year-old group.
You know, you're an outstanding coach and you're a proven coach, and I can't help but think that a junior college coaching job or some actual coaching job might go your way, but you make a living working for a good neighbor.
Right. Well,
State Farm.
no, with Alpha. The
I
Alpha folks would get mad at you.
Hey, you're exactly right. And I'm sorry you mentioned it, but you work with
Alpha. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And I love the company, and it allows me to have a lot of flexibility with helping at Pike, and then obviously running the whole summer stuff. So I've got the best of both worlds, and while I love the coaching profession, I like what I'm doing now.
All right, if we
Tell everybody a little bit about John Rushing. I used to work with a guy in Tuscaloosa that played for him. People just rave about John Rushing. He was at Troy under Pierce for a long time. What was his background? Was he originally in Tuscaloosa and then came to Troy when Pierce got there?
So I don't think he came right when Pierce was there, and I could be wrong about that, but it was fairly soon after. And he had been in Tuscaloosa. The first time I ever met John, he was actually coaching at Tuscaloosa Academy, and this was when I was in high school. And we tell the story. We beat them pretty good up there on the hill one night, and one of my best friends, Will Starling, had hit a home run. And he took his slow trot around the bases, and when he got to third, John told him to speed up his home run trot a little bit. And that was the first time I'd ever seen this guy or known who John was, and he's never changed since then. He tells you pretty much like it is, and that's what I've always liked about him. You know where you stand. But as far as the baseball side goes, extremely smart about the baseball game.
Is he the director of baseball operations at Troy, or was?
Well, he was,
Okay.
and now he's the assistant athletic director down at Chipola.
Okay.
now I know the rest of the story.
Now he's double dipping.
There you go. There you go.
But I know the rest of the story now. It helps out. But a great program. I remember that program out of Tuscaloosa dominated for a long time. That post 23, 34.
He won it 9 out of his 12 seasons.
Yeah.
That's what it says here.
Yeah, they had quite a run.
Didn't Derek Irons coach on that staff too?
I'm not sure if Irons did or not. Possibly.
Because I know Irons was from Tuscaloosa.
Right.
He used to be the head coach of Paul Bryant High School.
Yeah, Coach Irons is an outstanding high school guy.
At the other school right off the interstate.
At Oak Mountain.
Oak Mountain.
Oak Mountain done a good
I
job.
tell you what, that when he made that move, Birmingham at Oak Mountain, he was playing with some really tough competition. When you play 7A baseball, my goodness.
Right. He's got a local guy, William Till,
Oh, yeah,
who
that's
helps
right.
Coach
Yeah.
Irons up
Yeah,
there.
William
One of my
Till,
good
yeah.
friends. So
He happened to work for the other bunch, doesn't he?
he works for Alpha too.
Oh,
so,
yeah, excuse me, Alpha. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
we kind of do the same thing. Our day jobs with Alpha, and
Isn't that
we love
great?
baseball.
Yeah.
So.
And we watched him play, and he was an outstanding player and outstanding family. Want to mention if we play tomorrow, give us a little bit of what lineup you'll put out there.
So the way we'd probably start it up if we played in an hour from now is I would probably start Drew Cashin, the kid from New Brockton. He started my game 1 in the state tournament.
So he'd be the pitcher?
He'll be the pitcher. Like I said, he took a no-hitter into the 7th inning. He made me look really smart for dialing his number up, but he would likely start it on the mound. Then leading off, I would have Daryl lead. Daryl would play center field for me.
The quiet one.
And my 2-hole would be Todd Clay, the shortstop from Auburn High School. 3-hole would be Brooks Braun, the catcher that's going to Troy. 4-hole would likely be Reed Jordan, the kid at Headland High School. He would probably play third base or DH. The 5-hole would be Shelton Arroyo, and either him or Reed would play third, and whoever doesn't play third would DH. They're kind of interchangeable in those roles. Batting 6th would likely be Tanner Taylor, the player from Headland. He'd probably play second base for me to start it out. The 7 hole would be Ethan Cox, the kid from Opp. He would play either right or left field, probably right field to start out with. The 8 hole would be Drew Scheiber, who would play left field, and then to round it out would be Will Powell at first base. And here's the really ironic thing: Will Powell won our state tournament MVP, and he bats 9 hole. So the coaches there were looking at me thinking, "You're playing that state MVP in the 9 hole." He had an outstanding weekend. He hit a home run, hit a couple doubles. He only did not get on base one time all weekend, which was very impressive. So,
I would be interested to know who Drew Cashin's background is, because a friend of mine played baseball for Troy back in the early '60s, and his last name was Cashin, and I don't know from Phoenix City, Columbus area.
Mm-hmm. It's a unique last name.
Yeah,
sure.
Cashin, and that's his name. And in fact, he should be a future Hall of Famer. Is the one that I'm thinking of. But he played 59 and 60.
How are the facilities up in Pelham?
For a high school park, they're outstanding. They actually just turfed the whole field this year. A lot of money was poured into that program. They got the new LED lights. I'm sure you've seen some of these college programs when they hit a home run, they have a light show, and they've got that going on. The stands are very nice for a high school park, and their coach, Sean Anderson, has really advanced their program. I think they played in the state championship this year at, I guess, the 6A level, and ran into Hartselle, which I thought Hartselle was the best team in the whole state. 7-8.
I was fixing to say Hartselle always had a good baseball program. Yeah, another program up around there is Scott would be Scottsboro, not Scottsboro, but
Coleman's always real good.
Coleman, that's what I'm thinking about. Coleman. Those are 2 real good programs.
Yeah, Coleman was, when I was coming up, always in that last game or last couple games. I remember my sophomore year, I think Charles Henderson played them either in the Final Four or maybe in the state championship game when Logan Pierce and William Teal and some of those guys were over there.
Exactly right.
Coleman was
so
always
this will be a tough question for you. So Pike Lamar's the last 3 years, he won state championship. If you guys would have been in 2A, which y'all will now be 2A, in public schools, how many state championships would you guys have won?
I'm gonna say 3.
I
like to believe that. We had people that may not have seen us play have no idea the talent that those guys had, really. And in a serious note, talking to guys around the state that saw 7A ball down, they put us in the top 5 because of the arm talent, because of Drew Nelson and Press Jeffcoat, and the way you play postseason. It's the series.
Lee was a smooth.
Darrell Lee would have been the number 1 on a lot of people's teams, and again, if you label him, he would have been the 3 for us. And what people have to understand is, I know the AISA and then AHSA get labeled a lot. If you play this, you're better than this. But when you got a guy that's going to Auburn as your 1, and then the Panhandle in Press as your 2, another junior college arm in Darrell as your 3, you're playing with a loaded gun, so to speak, from the mound, and that's always the separator to me in baseball. Is you can have a lineup full of guys that can hit, but if you got that 1 on the mound that can shut all those guys down, then
the deck was stacked.
It was, and it again, we joke about how good those guys were. You're not going to really understand it until this year when you don't have Drew Nelson trotting out there, because he's been in a Pike jersey and pitching at a high level since he was in 8th grade.
His change-up, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. The people, I know he threw 90 miles an hour, but the great pitch that he had was a change. change
It
up.
was. It was.
How did that work? I mean, how would you work the change up?
So I'm not going to take any credit away from Drew. What Drew has developed is a lot on his own, and we just hope between Coach Alan Ponder, myself, Rush, some of the guys here that have him at Pike have just helped him along the way. But a lot of his is he's liable to be up at Pike Bid right now if he was in town hitting or throwing. He just works. He works, and Drew obviously has some God-given ability, but he was not just naturally gifted as far as just being an outstanding athlete. Everything he's got, he's really worked for, and he's dedicated with his diet. This guy hadn't even had a steak until a couple of weeks ago. He's just very dedicated.
Yeah.
But with the change up, so David, his dad, David Nelson,
Really
coached him growing up,
Yeah.
would not allow him to throw curveball or slider, just probably out of protection of his arm. So what it did is it really allowed him to learn how to pitch. So he's a fastball changeup guy. At times this year, he was up to 93, 94, but he usually pitched upper 80s. So he had some velocity now, but growing up he did. He was a pitcher. But when he would throw the changeup at 65 miles an hour, that 80-mile-an-hour fastball looked a lot harder.
So really with the change up now, I just threw a bullet down there at 34, 90 plus miles per hour. Then you come back and then he does this right here now. This same delivery every time. And he comes down and he's able to make that ball stop. That's a better word for it, because the speed, he was winding up the same, with the same, method that he had on the fastball. They ain't doing it 65, 70 miles an hour.
Right.
So he gets that batter doing this, being way ahead in of the ball, and that's what makes him successful.
It is. Hitting is always timing, and it's whatever you can do as a pitcher to throw off that timing, you're going to be successful. And Drew's done it at a high level, not only at Pike, but he played high level travel ball as well. And
so he played travel ball all over the country.
He did. He actually played for me post 70 on my first 17 and under team as a 15-year-old, and we knew he was special.
Did he stop people? Just stop him?
Well, I'll tell you a good guy to ask about Drew pitching is Darius Lewis, who umpires a lot of our games.
Yeah, played pro ball.
He said, "I've never seen."
Well, he played at Alabama.
Yeah,
his ball just looks like you pull a string on it at times, and he said, I've seen him from 8th grade till now, and the changeup is just that good. So that's definitely his what you call
from an umpire. Yeah.
He's seen it. He's seen it from that angle more than I have.
Now let me.
So as far as going back to that question though, so when Ponder left and took over the Pike Road job, he went. I think he took Pike Road to the state championship series that year. I mean, would he say? I know. He loves his guys at Pike Road. Did he feel like Pike Little Arts had as much talent as Pike Road?
So, per his words, which that's one of my best friends, we talk weekly still. That year he took Pike Road to the 5A state championship game. He said Pike lived with 10-run them. And I don't know about that, but you're talking about a guy who saw it at Pike for an extended period of time. And he'll tell you that his Pike Road team kind of overachieved a little that year, but they got into that postseason mode of just confident, did not think they could lose, and they didn't. They knocked off St. Paul and UMS Wright, both in Mobile, which doing one of those is hard to do.
Nobody could say they've done that. You're right.
Both on the road.
That's right. Both on the road. And I told him, I said, man, you just set yourself up for probably failure, because I don't know if you can do that again. And he laughed, but that year we would have had, Press and Drew, obviously, but you had Walker Stallworth and Javon Christian that both are college pitchers now, too. So you had 4 guys that you could really give the ball to. And
all right, let me say this. Let's say he did walk a batter, or did a batter got on an error or whatever. So the batter's over there at first base, and Drew is doing this right here. He's going straight up, just again, and I'm pointing toward the pitcher, the batter spot, and he says, he comes here and he says, bang, the best pickoff pitch I've ever seen a young guy have.
Yeah, it's the best I've seen.
How did they do that?
He's very detailed to his craft, and he works on
But
that.
you can't get off any further than 3 feet or 4 feet
Yeah.
against him, or he'll pick you off.
So when he was a young guy, relatively kind of unknown in the high school scene, he did
Yeah.
it all the time because nobody knew who he was. Then
But
watching
and,
his
and
career,
that would irritate a coach more than anything
does.
in the world. It
It
irritate a whole ball club, really.
I told him before, have you walked somebody on purpose just to do that to him? But it's outstanding, and he has fooled our first basemen at time where they're popping off because they don't think he's about to pick off. And then, over time we teach them, hey, you really got to stay there for Drew because he may come over here. And I've seen kids get less than 2 feet off the bag and still get picked off somehow. And they know it's coming, and
Everybody knows it's coming, and whether they're leaning or they're not leaning, he's got to pick off pitches next to none.
So how does the Major League Baseball draft not I mean, even in the late rounds, how does he not get drafted? I mean, does he just tell the scouts that he's going to Auburn regardless, and they just know that?
Yeah, there's a little bit more in detail that goes on, but just kind of bluntly, a kid like Drew, who I think we had a professional scout at every start he had this year, he was very much in the mix to get drafted. But then you're talking about money, and you're a business asset to those major league teams at that point. And I don't know what Drew told him or what his dad, what those conversations were, but Drew loves Auburn and wants to go pitch under Butch Thompson. Feels like he's still got more in the tank to get better and develop. And that was the biggest reason right there was because he just simply wanted to go play in the SEC and go to Auburn.
And a couple of good pitching coaches besides the head coach.
Right. Well, Tim Hudson's actually stepping away this year, and he's going to coach his son at Lee Scott Academy.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah. He is. He felt like he has missed a lot of his son's high school career. He wants to be a part of it now.
One thing I noticed about Drew, I went to a practice a couple of times. He has fun at practice, especially when they're shagging balls. They were out there just laughing, having a good
Then
time.
my other buddy coaches that there at Auburn.
Gabe Gross.
Gabe Gross is a good guy. And I never heard Gabe's comments about this new pitcher from Pike Liberal Arts School.
Yeah, Gabe's a hitting guy, so
Yeah,
he probably hopes his hitters can hit him around a little bit in the fall. But Gabe's a great guy.
well, we've got to get out of here for the
Wally
Sanders Truck Lines show, and of course we appreciate you coming on our show, and it all starts here. Let me give you a quick list of who's all in the tournament. Fort Smith, Arkansas; Jefferson City, Missouri; Pittsburgh, Kansas; Mississippi Tupelo; St. Joseph, Missouri; Gonzales, Louisiana; the host team Shelby out of Birmingham; and Post 70 out of Troy, Alabama. Pretty good teams. Post 70 starts it off with playing Missouri at Pelham at 4 o'clock on Wednesday. Is that right?
That's right. You got it.
And Coach, we wish you a lot of luck. I hope you'll stay in touch with us and get up with Forrest on how everything went and everything. And you won't. Will you play double elimination, of course? And you'll probably play just one game a day.
That's right. One game a day, just a double elimination format. So it's fun.
What time's curfew for these kids that we know?
Yeah.
To be determined. If we lose, it's going to be early.
Coach, these boys are grown men now.
That's right. I do tell them I'm not your dad, so I can't. He can't please you. But we have one rule every summer. That's just be professional. Because if you're professional, that checks a lot of boxes itself.
Well, I say go Trojans and go Troy in this American Legion Post 70, and we'll be watching you. And again, congratulations.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thanks for you being the great guy that you are to come on our show. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you tomorrow.
In the market for a new or pre-owned vehicle? We've got what you're looking for.
So come see us at Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC in Troy, and you too can experience the Jackson satisfaction.
Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC.
These teenage years can be tricky to navigate, especially when it comes to teaching my son about managing money. I'm thankful for helpful tools like Sidekick from Max. With Sidekick, requesting and rewarding money is easy. He can earn it by completing chores, making honor roll, or simply making a request from his own app. I love that I can easily monitor his purchases and set limits to help him learn to make smart choices with his spending, even on video games. Sidekick, find it in your Max app.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and